How's it going, guys? It's the Pixelated Pumpkin, and in today's video, I'll be unboxing, showcasing, and reviewing the Terror Tavern from Lemax Spooky Town 2024. While this building is just a simple bulb-lit building, meaning there's going to be no special lighting on it, I think it is probably one of their best bulb-lit buildings they've ever done. I really love the design of this one, and is definitely the cheapest option out of all the Spooky Town buildings I'll be reviewing this year. So if you don't have a big budget for this type of stuff, this one is definitely one you should be looking at if you want to get one for sure. And of course, I gotta give a huge thank you to Lemax for sending me this Spooky Town building along with every Spooky Town building you'll be seeing reviewed this year. So thank you to them, and I say let's unbox it. Alright everybody, now that you got a good look at the Terror Tavern, it is time for me to review it. And for this review, I'll really only be going into the design and detail of the building, as talking about the lighting is quite unnecessary here because, again, it is just a single bulb-lit building, so the light is really only shining and lighting up the interior. So unfortunately, no outdoor lighting, but seeing as this is a very small piece, it makes sense that Lemax decided to go with this one for a single bulb. Anyways, let's start talking about the Terror Tavern itself. Starting off with the architecture for the building, I think it is fantastic here. I love how it's kind of set up like it's on a corner. You have the front door on a diagonal instead of on one of the sides, which I think is great. I really like that sort of corner bar look it's going for, especially with the two stories here. I think it looks really cool. And the roofs and the windows as well just all come together so nicely with that sort of gray brick they're going with, along with the red and green detailing all over the piece. I feel like it's an odd color scheme, especially for a Halloween item, but somehow they make it work very well here. You know, I'm not thinking of Christmas when I look at this, which is what your mind typically jumps to when you see red and green together. So for the architecture and color detailing, I think it's great. The building's design is just really cool and very unique, again, with it being a corner style building. You don't see too much of those with Lemax, so this is really unique. Now let's talk about the detailing. Starting with the two monsters sitting out of the second story windows at the very top, we have that skeleton with the beer bottle and the ghost with the mug. I think these two are great and add a really nice touch to the piece. It looks like they're having a great time up there for sure. Speaking about monsters who are having a good time, jumping to the bottom with the skeleton on the barrel with his beer mug high in the air, this definitely has to be my favorite character on the whole piece. He's a really great addition to the exterior. I feel like the piece would feel a little bit empty without him for sure. Jumping inside, we have a green-colored fellow getting served some alcohol by a green-colored lady. This is a great little scene here. I like the table, I like the characters, and the tiny little beer mugs are very cool as well. Also very much enjoy the background detailing here too, with the wallpaper being ripped up and just a very decrepit-looking scene inside, which obviously makes sense because this is a tavern ran by spooky monsters, so they have to keep up the spooky appearances. And of course, on the other side of the tavern, we have a vampire who I assume is drinking a Bloody Mary. It only makes sense. Next up, I want to talk about the window detailing, specifically the decal they kind of put onto the window pane here. I think it looks really cool. The design is nice, and again, it just adds a lot of detail to the piece. You typically would just have a clear see-through window all the way, but this little bit of detailing really has the whole piece come together, in my opinion. It's really cool. As for the rest of the little details, mainly just smaller signs and stuff, I think they are all really cool and obviously add to the whole spooky tavern aesthetic very well. So overall, the Terror Tavern is a great option for a first Lemax piece, considering it is just a single bulblet building. It's much cheaper than a lot of other pieces this year for sure, and I have to highly recommend it. Obviously, this piece isn't the most traditional Halloween-esque piece out there, but I think it really nails this old school kind of Halloween aesthetic that isn't seen too much. It's very hard to put my finger on, but there's something special that really just screams this classic Halloween with this piece for me, but I know it's not going to be for everybody. And I think it'll go down as definitely a overlooked and underrated restaurant building from Lemax Spooky Town. We have seen plenty of different types of restaurants before, and while this one isn't my favorite of all time in terms of the restaurant category, it's definitely up there, and again, one I feel like will be overlooked very often, but it's one that I highly recommend and I'm happy to have in my collection. So that's going to be it for this one, everybody. Be sure to let me know what you think of the Terror Tavern in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, nobody outpixelates the pumpkin.